Welcome to Mama and Me Chronicles, the travel edition. I am Dr. Allison Upshaw, Assistant Professor of Voice at Stillman College. I'm an opera singer, a professional actress, and a full-time caregiver for my 91-year-old mama. On Facebook, I have a blog called the Mama and Me Chronicles. And this year, since we decided to take a trip across the western half of the United States, I thought I'd do a travel version. So, welcome to a recounting of our travels. A little housekeeping to get out of the way. Due to the limitations of the software in terms of text character count, I was unable to do the correct type of citation, but I did want to leave a few influences that impacted this presentation. This was a bonding trip. My sister and I have different mothers, but we take after our father, and we both love to drive. So we decided, as both full-time caregivers for cognitively impaired persons, that the best way to bond would be to drive across the country and back in 2 weeks. I know it sounds crazy, and we thought we were crazy after we got into it, but it was the most exciting thing we'd ever done. My sister is about 14 years older than I am, so we have never we didn't grow up together and only know each other really as adults, and this was going to be an opportunity for us to really bond. And for my mom to finally get to travel. I remember when she was younger and still working, she and my aunt always talked about getting a Winnebago, which is an RV or recreational vehicle, a camper, and getting this vehicle and traveling around the world. She wanted to drive and see things, and my mother's always been curious. And I thought, this is perfect. She will love this. This is me at Mount Rushmore. Oh, the sights we saw. Things that I've only read about in books. Things that were so amazing. Things that my mom only taught about, but never expected in her life to see. We even saw things that weren't even a part of the books that I was taught from when I was younger. We traveled through Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, South Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Washington State, Oregon, Utah, Wyoming, and Nebraska, all in a 2-week span. Things were wonderful. We even got to see, let me show you. We even got to see Old Faithful, a famous American geyser, below. We asked, and the water debris in Fahrenheit gets up to about 240 degrees, and the steam can get up to 350 degrees. Mama wasn't able to stand long enough to see it, but we were able to get a great parking spot so she could sit in the truck and watch Old Faithful. Even with all the problems, I never expected Yellowstone and Old Faithful, the different natural beauty that I saw. It was so unexpected. So much. And rivers and lakes. I just can't describe the natural beauty that we saw. And then after we got to Seattle, we went shopping in the harbor and we met family. This trip was just days of loving and laughing hard with each other. Now, this is my sister and my niece in Boise. We stopped on our way back in Boise. And after a long day driving, we went to a local restaurant. I cannot pronounce the name, but I believe it was a local Indian nation. And service was poor. That was an unexpected kind of thing. We hadn't dealt with any really poor service. Everywhere we'd gone was really nice, but we noticed that other people came and went with their food with the same server. They were able to come in after us, be served, and leave, and we were still waiting for our food. We noticed that we were the only African American group. We noticed that other servers were more attentive. Our food came out one at a time, cold. And when we approached the server with why it was taking so long, the implication was that I required a well done steak, so it took over an hour for that to happen. And then again, the other poor issues of service were still blamed on the poor steak. I didn't say anything. Mama was a little upset, but we all took it in stride. I mean, considering that we had crossed so many states and met so many different people, lovely people, wonderful, warm people, the idea that we'd meet one person who was not wonderfully warm, drop in the bucket. So we continued our journey. This was Mama eating her little portion. She eats like a bird. We made it through Wyoming again. Beauty everywhere around us. And we visited Buffalo Bill's home in Nebraska. I really did think that this was a trip to fulfill Mama's dreams of traveling, but she doesn't even remember going. I have an electronic picture frame and I put pictures in from the trip, and she has no earthly idea that we were gone for 2 weeks. So no. Ultimately, the trip was for me, for my memories. After we left Buffalo Bill's house, we stayed in Omaha that night. And that's where things took an unwelcome turn. I'd like to read to you, actually, my account of what happened. My family is a first-time visitor to Omaha. This restaurant was recommended by the hotel staff. The food was good. The service and the follow-up from the manager were extremely poor. We watched our server attend to other tables around us. Finally, I had to go back to the hostess and request someone to take our order. After another server did that, there was still a long wait for the food and no unprompted appearance from the manager. After we were nearly finished eating, the waitress came back to the table and I requested that she and the manager return. I explained that I understand a variety of reasons could have impacted her lack of attendance to our table. However, we were the only customers of color, and that her choice to not attend us made my 91-year-old mother upset. It made my mother feel as if she were being mistreated, reminiscent of Jim Crow days. The manager refused to listen to me and brushed off my concerns. He never apologized to my mother or acknowledged her feelings at all. I requested the general manager's contact information and will be following up with him tomorrow. I have never seen my mother like that. She was terrified. She kept saying, let's go, let's just go, let's just go. And she wanted to know where the truck was because she was afraid that they would follow us back to the hotel and hurt us. Hurt us for saying that we deserved better treatment. And the sad thing is, I really couldn't reassure her that that wouldn't happen because it is 2021 in America. The next day, she didn't remember. That is one of the few times that I have ever been so happy that my mom has Alzheimer's. She didn't remember the panic or the mistreatment. And for that, I am grateful. It reminded me of a poem by Conti Cullen. And the poem is called Incident. Riding through old Baltimore, heart filled, head filled with glee, I saw a Baltimorean keep looking straight at me. Now I was 8 and very small, and he not one whit bigger. I smiled at him, and he poked out his tongue and called me nigger. Now I saw the whole of Baltimore, from May up through December. But of all the things that happened there, that's all that I remember.